Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, people. It's that time of day, evening, week, whatever you want to call it, where we get together in a red room. Well, um, what's the word? Virtual red room. We're not actually in a red room. Um, you probably can tell. But we get in a virtual red room and talk all things Liverpool. Yes, Liverpool. And we are here today to talk about a Liverpool win. A Liverpool win. A Liverpool clean sheet. A calm, normal, boring 2-0 win. Wow, it's been ages. So I thought I'd bring a calm, normal panel. And as you can see, I failed. Instead, I've got a mad bunch of bastards with me. Welcome, panel. Cav, Mo's in the building. Lou's in the building. Cav, how you doing, my friend? You're like, who are you like? You're like, I was going to say Calvin Ramsey these days. But now that's a bit too much. I think you're like kind of Bradley these days. Like, you show your potential, you come and show, and then run of games and you break down again with an injury. You think,
yeah.
There's potential in this young Bradley.
Availability is questionable, right? Yeah, I know it. But I just have to just make an appearance every so often. Just let people know that I'm still in the 25-man squad. I'm still around. When Liverpool are in the finals, I'll prop up and steal a bit of glory. It's fine. Hopefully, I'll be on the bus parade at the end of the season. Yeah, all of that. No, I'm good. I'm sound. Liverpool won a game. Yeah. I thought, if I hadn't watched the game, Grizz, I thought you'd be lying to me with Liverpool of recent. But no, it's true. Liverpool did win a game of football and relatively comfortably as well. So I'm pleased I'm back on when I get to talk about a win. I can't lie.
Yeah, it's good. It was getting very difficult, wasn't it, Lou? Like we can't stop talking about Liverpool. We have to talk about Liverpool because that's what we do. But it was becoming really hard, tedious, boring, repetitive. We wanted something different in some way, shape, or form. And I think we got that, right?
Yeah, we did. Look, you touched on it then. It was boring, I think, is the main word. But honestly, I think that's the performance we needed. We didn't need flash. We didn't need flair. We didn't need to go out and beat someone 5, 6, 7-0. We just needed comfortable, steady composure and calm. More so Slot than us. And I think that result, yeah, it's West Ham. Yeah, it's a team who you could say are battling relegation. Yeah, it's a team who are going through transition. But it's a clean sheet at a time where we can't buy clean sheets. And it's a win at a time where they've come few and far between. So despite the narrative, despite all of everything that people will say, it's a win. And I'm happy that we've been able to get some sort of structure. We've been able to pick up 3 points. We've been able to go away to a ground that has given us some shock defeats in the past and has given us some great moments. But ultimately, it's job done. It's just whatever comes next. But I'm fine with the way that things panned out the other day. Even if the game was a little bit dull, I think that's perfectly for us.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, Mo, you was at the game, wasn't you?
Yeah, I was there.
Did you? You was at the game. Like Lou says and Cav says, just a routine, basic win, but we kind of just begging for that kind of routine, normal, no drama. Back to basics, would you say?
100%.
Performance?
Yeah, I think the whole atmosphere there, the whole day was a bit subdued and quiet. I think partly because of what happened to Billy Bonds in the daytime for them.
Oh, yeah, of course, respect.
I thought I would galvanize them. I thought I would galvanize them, to be honest. It actually did the opposite. They didn't really turn up at all, which played in our hands. The first half was, very, very quiet. Even from the fans' perspective, I've been to a lot of games, and normally away fans, Liverpool fans, we're buzzing throughout the game. We were dead first half. We were quiet.
We had reason to be dead, though. I mean,
of course, the team has to give us a reason to cheer. But it was a really strange atmosphere for the first 45 minutes. But like you said, going back to basics, and I think we needed to do that. And players playing in the right position helped a lot. I'm sure we're going to chop it all up. But I think a much needed 3 points. Performance and all that will come later down the line, hopefully. For now, we just needed 3 points, and we needed to keep in touching distance,
Touching distance. We needed a win. We needed something different. I guess as we usually do, we start off with a lineup. Obviously, shock of the day, or was it shock of the day? Mohamed Salah rotated, rested, dropped, wherever your narrative and agenda is, you use that word, right? And then equally as important or relevant was the Joe Gomez at right back. The rest kind of picked itself. Oh, Florian Wirtz comes in. I beg your pardon. Is that the other change? No. Florian Wirtz for Salah, Gomez for Curtis Jones.
Yeah, I mean, they're the big calls, but just taking it back a little bit, leading up to the game. I'm not sure how you guys felt or how everybody in the chat felt, but I felt like after the PSV game that there was a huge shift of fans thinking that, we may need to look at the manager more seriously here. I think that we'd sort of toyed with that thought leading up to PSV. Some people might have been on the slot out train already, but we had reasons, we had excuses, if you like. But PSV kind of, for me and how I was seeing and interacting with other Liverpool fans, it felt like breaking point for a lot of people. And I wasn't sure if he was going to get to this game. So going into it, when I'm waiting to see the lineup come out, I'm thinking if there was ever a time for you to play a wild card or make a big call, or if you had any ideas as to how you potentially could set the team up, just try it now, because it feels like the writing's on the wall with Slot and his position.
Like, what have you got to lose kind of thing? Just
a little bit. Backs to the wall situation. Just throw anything out there now and give it a chance. And it felt like he'd done that by not selecting Mo Salah. It felt like he'd been patient with him by continuing to select him. And it felt like now he kind of recognised that actually it doesn't matter how good you've been for the club and what's gone before. You need to pick the players that you think are going to give you the best chance of winning. And I think Mo Salah at this moment in time in current form isn't the right player to pick in the side. So it's still a big call because of who it is, but it was the right one, in my opinion. I think he had to pull Salah out of the side, pure and simply just to get somebody else in there that's just going to do the odds and be aggressive and win duels and just give us a little bit more defensive solidity. So he made the call, and obviously it panned out as the right decision. Combine that with Joe Gomez at right back, again, a bit more defensive solidity. A risk. It's a guy that's not played football in a long time. He spoke earlier in the week about the injections in the knees, so obviously we know Gomez's body doesn't hold up particularly well. It is a risk, but he had to take that risk. He had to give something a go. So he put a side out that felt like they were obvious choices, but even if it was an obvious choice, it's still a big decision to make, and he made it. I thought that maybe Robertson could have got back in the side, but I understood if he was going to play Gomez at right back, a more defensive-minded player, that it would offer that freedom up to Kirkes to bomb on and be more advanced out of the two falls. Ekitike, I'd have liked to have seen in the side, but I know he picked up a bit of a knock in the PSV game, so maybe his full fitness was questionable. And Florian Wirtz as well, he's coming off the back of an injury. Not too sure if he's fully ready, and I'm sure we'll talk about it in his performance in the game, but clearly he was, and he's straight back in there. I like this side, and I think the word that's been used a lot about people, and I think it's the right one to describe the team, was balance. It felt like a more balanced team. And that's always going to be the case when you pull Mo Salah out of it. I'll be honest with you. For years, Liverpool have been an unbalanced side. But with a star like Mo Salah, you can compensate for it because of what he gives you. When he's not giving you the output, you then have a decision to make. And he made it, and the team, as it showed, just looked more comfortable, more simple, and yes, boring. But looked like it had an idea as to what it needed to do, where in recent weeks, it felt like it was square pegs in round holes. And you were seeing that on the pitch because players looked like they were confused in themselves and what they had to give to the team in the game. So big calls, but it was the time for big calls. So yeah, I'm pleased. I was pleased he did it, you know.
Lou, obviously we've been doing the word room for weeks now and asking, are we going to get change in formation? Are we going to get change in personnel? Like Cav says, this was the time because he was under such pressure, literally fighting for his job. You're right. Everyone's right.
Yeah.
Literally fighting for his job. Like even the local patch journalist suggested, and for them to even suggest that there is pressure on him means there is absolutely pressure on him, and rightly so. We went through it. Was you pleasantly surprised with the changes, or did you think it's the last kind of throw of the dice? Do you think it was a desperation move, or do you think there was method behind the madness, if you know what I mean? Like sometimes a coach can just one last hurrah, and if it works, it works. Because that could have, what I'm saying is that could have easily backfired. Oh, he's dropped his star man and you've lost to West Ham. There was no coming back from there, was there, if that was the case?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. I remember when Rodgers was getting touted around for the sack and he started throwing Danny Ings and Benteke in up top, and he started trying to try different tactics and different techniques to try and get the results. And ultimately, I think it comes down to it's both. It's the squad needed a shake-up, because I think the most convincing we've looked was earlier on against Eintracht Frankfurt, where Salah came off the pitch, where we changed the front line, Chiesa came in, we started bringing in a lot more attacking options. And then I think we've also got Salah, who earlier this season was like our most creative player statistically in all aspects. And since then, he's been overtaken by Gakpo, Szoboszlai, even Wirtz is coming up to him for the lack of minutes he's got. So changes needed to happen. And when I went to Redmen last week and we were predicting our lineup, I think everyone in the room was saying, look, he's not going to make any wholesale changes because he doesn't do that. It's something he's not done for a long time, even though he said himself last season going into that cup final and the PSG stretch, those kind of 2 weeks, he regrets not changing a lot, and he still hasn't done it a lot this season. So it was a surprise, but this was his Hail Mary. This was Slot saying, look, if I lose this game, I know I'm gone. So I have to try something different. And at least then I can say it still didn't work, even though I've made these changes. It is what it is. If he'd have stuck with the same formulaic approach as he has done all season and went down the way we have done recently, then he'd only have himself to blame. And that match against West Ham last season, we only had a lower XG in 4 matches all of last season than we did against West Ham this weekend. So he wasn't trying to go out there and blow them away. He just wanted things to be calm and steady and composed. And making those changes was such a vital part of that, because you had Wirtz drifting inside, controlling the game from the middle, overloading midfield. You didn't have Salah, who is isolated all on his own and you feel like you're a player down. He's made the most sensible, safe approach. And like I said before, that's what we needed right now. We didn't need some sort of big heroic, I'm going to die on my sword, I'm going to go down fighting, if we lose, we're going to lose 4-3. Or we wanted this. We wanted a clean sheet, nice and easy. So dropping Salah, it's a bold option. I think it's only happened 4 times before where he's not played any minutes for us in a match. It was a big choice, but it's one that ultimately has come back full of positives, because we got to see the best of Florian Wirtz. Kirk has had a good game. Like Szoboszlai did what he did best. Isak got a goal. So what we've been saying for weeks now of having Salah in that team feels like a little bit more of a detriment than it is a positive thing on the pitch. We've invalidated him what we're saying, because we saw the best of it when he actually wasn't in the team the other day. So,
Mo, we'll get onto the Salah conundrum and sort of looking forward to tomorrow's game in terms of what do we think selection-wise. But this one, me personally, guys, I love Joe Gomez, man. It's one of the footballing sad stories in terms of how he's not fulfilled his career. He should have been our centre-back partner for Virgil, like fixed for the last 5 years. It should have been Virgil and Joe Gomez. After Matip, obviously, it should have been, Joe Gomez, and then obviously Konate there as well. But it's been, I don't know what you think of Joe Gomez, but I was so happy to see him. And he came in and it looked like, so we thought, I'm assuming we all thought, guys, that Joe Gomez is going to play that inverted centre-back, make it 3 at the back and let Kirkes bomb on. But lo and behold, he played like a bloody high and wide wing-back almost, right?
I love Joe Gomez. I'm not you. Ain't nobody like Joe Gomez.
Yeah, man, you can't get that from Joe Gomez.
And I think, 'cause, I think, 'cause, I think, 'cause, 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 what made a difference the other day with Joe is he knew when to go forward and knew when to cover and stay back, which I think a lot of our right backs this season hasn't judged that well, where Joe he judged it perfectly, and I think that comes with experience. And I know we're going to jump on the Salah thing immediately, soon. I don't think we should act like Salah's the problem in the team, because he's not. I just think it was a time for him to realise that he's droppable. And what we also got to understand is that right-hand side, he's had, 5 different right-backs playing with him now? Whereas on the left-hand side, you're going to get either Kirkes or Robbo. On that right-hand side, he doesn't know who he's going to play with every week. So I'm holding back from blaming Salah or pinpointing Salah as the problem. I don't think he is. But I think Slot made a really gutsy call by making him aware, like, look, you're droppable. And this is our future. And at the end of the day, fans have got to realise Flo Wirtz, Isak, Ekatike, and whoever we sign from another left or right wing, that's going to be our future moving forward.
Yeah.
Salah's going to go off for AFCON in the next 10 days, is it, or next week? So we're going to have a good prolonged period of Salah not in our team for the next 5, 6, 7 games. I think he's going to probably play tomorrow, but after that, probably going to get 5, 6, 7 games without him in our team. And it'll probably give us a good insight on what the future of Liverpool looks like going forward. So, but yeah, I think if only Joe Gomez was like 100% reliable, do you know what I mean? He was amazing. The way he went forward, the timing. Yeah, there was a couple of balls he should have done, and that was rustiness. But he's still got an assist. Yeah, he's still got an assist. He assisted Gakpo.
Well, Arsenal earlier this season, he came off after being injured, and he came in and put in one of the best performances of the match. Like, it's just what he does at this point.
Prior to this start, his last start, correct me if I'm wrong, was Southampton, and he had a mare. So for him to come,
it was.
For him to come back into a Premier League side where we're struggling, lower confidence, and put that kind of performance out. Wow, amazing performance from Joe.
Yeah,
I think we all hope that he was just a bit more resilient and robust, which he's not. But hopefully he gets more games now and shows Slot that he can trust him,
The Joe Gomez conundrum, it seems like every season we have the same conversation, and it's frustrating, and it gives you despondency. Sometimes you think to just get rid, and I hate using that word, get rid, or 2 words, get rid. I'm not saying get rid, but sort of bring in someone that you're going to trust, bring in someone that is reliable, bring in someone that actually will play for Liverpool. But then when he plays like that, Cav, it just brings a warmth to your heart. A, because he's a classy guy, and he's just his time at Liverpool has been pure class, right? Mm-hmm. And B, when you have a classy guy, you want to give him every opportunity possible. You don't want to ship him out at the first stage. Where are we at now? Season 10? Is it right, guys?
It'll be 10
season
years,
10.
yeah.
The same question marks will arise in January, and the same question marks will arise in summer. So where are we at now with Joe Gomez, year 10? Where are you?
That makes him the longest serving player, right?
Yeah. He's the only player to have predated Klopp in the Liverpool team.
That's crazy. You said it, Grizz. You want Joe Gomez, the man, to do well. Because he's such a down-to-earth, humble guy. He's always carried himself really professionally. And it's only because his body's let him down that he's not been in the Liverpool side. Yes, he's stepped in on occasion, usually in a rotated side in the cup competitions. He's had a couple of mistakes in there. But he's not played enough football to get rhythm, to build his confidence and really establish himself. And it's a great shame because, like you said, he's a good player. I think that right back is the position for him. It's where I feel most comfortable with Joe Gomez. I think he understands the position. Mo, you spoke about how he understands when to go forward and when not. And more so, I'm not entirely comfortable with him at centre back. Is the truth. I've just seen too many sort of individual errors, and not only them errors have occurred, but his performances after the errors, he seems to lose a bit of confidence, and I don't think we can afford for really. So I'm quite fine with saying he's a right back option. It's crazy we're going into 2026 soon and we're wanting Joe Gomez as our right back. I mean, kind of shows how those developments probably haven't worked out. But look, he's a good player. I certainly don't see him going anywhere in January. I think we need to be reinforcing at the back, not letting people go.
We can't afford that.
Positions. Yeah. The summer will be, again, the same question, whether he'll move on. I suspect he will, and we'll wish him well. But he played the game really well, as Mo says, but also he's new into the side, if you like. He's got new players around him that he ain't played with before. And equally, he's got Szoboszlai ahead of him, which Szoboszlai naturally sort of drifted in field. When you think about how the build of play was in possession, Wirtz drifts to the left, Szoboszlai kind of drifts to the central area, and it left acres of space in front of Gomez. And really, I don't want to overlook the fact that he could have ran into that space and it really exposed us in that channel. But actually, he didn't. He had real good structural, tactical awareness when to go into the space, when to bomb forward, when to drop off, when to sit high up and in the play the offside trap with the team, when to drop off. He was sound. He was really, really good. And I was really impressed that he managed to step in and understand what the coach asked of him, and it just felt like he just had a seamless game. And we always say, don't we, when we're not talking about defenders, usually it's because they've had a good game. And that's what it was with him. And I think the knock-on effect was that it made Konate feel a bit more comfortable, a bit more assured. He necessarily didn't have to do the channel defending as much. He just had to control a much smaller zone as a right centre-back. So it meant that he had a better game as well. I just felt like there was much more confidence in the back line with having him there. Of course, Alisson back in the side plays its part as well. But just that familiarity is what you want in that crucial area of the pitch. And that's what he offered stepping in. So for me, I think with where we are with Liverpool, if players have stepped in and done well, don't look too far ahead. Let's just try and keep the same side as much as possible and go from there. And that inevitably means that Joe Gomez should be selected again in the games ahead. Hopefully his body allows him to, but I'd like to think that he could start if he needs to come off to be rested a little bit. He does 60 minutes or whatnot, that's fine. But let the thought be trying to get Gomez into the side at that position as much as possible.
A few of the regulars are joining in. Forum says, big up, Unc. So good to see Cav and Grizz back again. Big up, Cav. Yeah, it's always good to see Cav. And I'm glad you guys feel the same way. Lou, formation-wise, I want to get your guys' insights into what do you think the key difference was in terms of, and what would you call that formation? Obviously, everyone Twitter at the moment or X is all about formations and how we build up play and how many on the ball formation and off the ball formation. Everyone has overnight become a tactico. But what was your basic understanding of how we set up differently from how we set up with Mohamed Salah? To the naked eye, to me, to absolute layman, it seemed like a 4-4-2 or 4-4-1-1, I should say, with Wirtz behind Isak, Gakpo and Szoboszlai, Gakpo holding width, Szoboszlai inverting, and vice versa with the fullbacks as well. I thought it was that. Did you think anything different? Because I know you like to look into heat maps and average positions. I know you do it on your channels, or make sure you guys go and check out Beyond the Cop. I know you like to look at that side of things. Or is my layman amateurish opinion right?
No, I think you're spot on, to be honest, because it goes down as a 4-2-3-1, but the actual heat maps of it is McAllister, Szoboszlai, and Wirtz all predominantly operated on the right-hand side. And I think that's it's a complete polar opposite to what we've been seeing this season, whereby that left-hand side, so often, you've had Ekitike drifting, you've had Wirtz go out there, you've had Gakpo, you've had Kerkez. This felt like a complete shift in how we operate. And I think having Salah not in that team allowed a lot more freedom for these players to drift out to the right-hand side, whereas predominantly it feels as though that's his area of the pitch. Everyone else just needs to stay away and just let him do what he does, and eventually they'll find the ball to someone. So, no, I think you're right. I think that the 4-4-1-1 is the kind of thing that we're playing, because Wirtz would often drift into that number 10. I'm just happy that it was something different. I'm like, stats and things like that I'm fine with. Formations and that I can sort of, I've got a very linear understanding of it, but it was just nice to see the fact that Wirtz was playing in his suited position. Szoboszlai had the option of drifting out wide, or he could come back into the middle and underlap and give them an option in the middle. And it felt like everyone had freedom. No one was in a sort of rigid structure. It was just a sort of, right, go where you're comfortable. And like Mo said before, I'm not blaming Salah for anything. I love the man so much. He's one of my favourite players. He's Mount Rushmore, top 3, top 5, whatever you say. But when he's not in that team, it does feel as though people have a lot more license to be creatively free. And if they want to go in behind, they can do. If they want to drift out to the right-hand side, they can do. Whereas when he's there, it can often feel like such a stagnant attack at the moment, where it's Salah's right wing, everyone else stick to the centre. So they all start drifting out to the left to try and find things there. And then you get so overcrowded on the left-hand side. And it was just a change that we needed, particularly for this match. Because I do think that if Slot had lost this game, like I said before, if he'd have gone out playing the same style, the same way, and lost that match, I think that would have been a sort of, look, nothing's progressing. There's no plan. At least he showed a bit of tactical flexibility in this match, similar to what we saw last season, that he can adapt and he can overcome. So I think you're spot on with the assessment, to be honest. And it was something that needed to be done going into this match.
Mo, I've made my opinions clear in terms of the recruitment after the excitement and buzz of the summer. Which we all got embroiled in. Let's not pretend any one of us thought otherwise. We all got excited, and even me. At my age, it's very difficult for me to get excited. Pause. Doesn't sound right. You know what I mean, guys. Footballing.
You have a blue pill for that, don't worry.
Need a pill, I was going to say.
Anyway, moving on swiftly. But yeah, look, we all got embroiled in that. But then when I had to think about it and reflected, and I think I did discuss it on our shows a couple of times, I genuinely thought that the recruitment was done for overall post-Salah. Like, I think the attack we knew was not going to be Trent and Salah anymore, because that was our attack. Let's call a spade a spade. Our attack, our way of attacking, our past last 5-6 years has been, since Mane left, was, Salah and Trent, creativity and finishing wise. And so therefore we changed it to a more centralized attack, which consists of Ekitike, Wirtz and Isak. And then obviously in the hope that the width comes from the wing backs that we bought, Kerkez and Frimpong. And I genuinely think this will take a season. And I know we hate it, because look what happened in that sort of transition period. We lost X amount of games. But I do think it's a transition and we have to accept for what it is. How did you see it? Did you see glimpses of that future with Wirtz and Isak? And let's say Gakpo for now, but we're assuming Semenyo there or on the other side. Did you see visions? Did you see at the game the future looking bright with that more centralized attack, whereas it's based and built around Florian Wirtz? And are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think a lot of Liverpool fans will say that was probably one of Flo's best performances.
Yeah.
I thought he was amazing. And I think partly because he was given that free role. Yes, he was given that you're a number 10, but he was actually a free role. He was said, go where you want, do what you want, create for this team.
Yeah. I think it was the most free role. I think it was, you're spot on, guys. Sorry, I'm so sorry for biting in, but you're spot on. That was the freest role you can give a player in the modern 100%. Era. Like in terms of, in a modern day game of rigid formations and structures and off the ball and on the ball, that was the freest role you can give anyone in this.
He had security behind him. He had two midfielders who would sit. He had Dom on the right, and the intelligence that Dom and Flo have together. When Dom cut inside and inverted and came inside, It allowed Flo to think, okay, let me go out wide and cover that width for you. And they interchanged positions quite a few times as well, which I noticed during the game. And that's purely because Flo was just given a free rein. If you give Flo a free rein, he's going to cause damage. He's going to create chances. He's going to get assists. He's going to get goals. And that's the future of Liverpool. And what I liked as well is we actually tried to give him a lot more service into the box as well, which we didn't give Isak before.
Yeah.
I noticed a lot more crosses, a lot more going to the byline. Even Gakpo played an overlap pass to Kirkes, which I was like, oh my God, I need to pinch myself. Did that happen? And it happened. And when, like, if you feed that kind of striker is going to get you goals. But the last 3-4 weeks, we haven't given that because of Mo cutting inside and doing a long ball back to Gakpo. Gakpo cutting inside, doing a long ball back to Salah. We actually gave service in the right area. And when you give service in the right area, it works. But yes, to answer your question, definitely. If a Liverpool fan is not excited about Flo running this team, then I don't know what's going to excite you.
Sorry, just really quick on, because I think you're absolutely spot on Verts. And you know what's interesting, right? So in that match, that's the third most passes he's ever made in a match for us. The only two other matches were against Burnley and Frankfurt. One where we had a lot of the ball and one where we absolutely battered them. And he had the highest passing percentage of any player in that match on 93.3%. But he made 0 tackles, 0 interceptions, 0 blocks. That's because he's being told you don't need to come back and track back and defend. You've got that, like you said before, you've got others behind you to cover you. Your role is get the ball and create and just make for other people.
And he did create. He should have got at least 2 assists. And to be fair, he should have got a goal as well when Gakpo set it.
Yeah.
That will come. That will come. I swear to God, it will come. You know, as soon as he gets his first goal, I genuinely think the floodgates will open for him. I think he just needs a confidence boost. But that performance from Flo really just like ballers. He's a baller. And if you know football, you know he's a baller. And you know, yes, it's taken a bit of time. He's even said that he needs time to adjust. I think he's put on 2.5 pounds of lean muscle and so forth, whatever it is. That will come. And I think that performance was just a sign of things to come. I'm excited. I really am excited. I want him to play tomorrow, and I'm excited to see what he does. But yeah, the future is looking bright because that's our future. Isak, Flo, Ekitike, and whichever winger we sign to see the passing on the torch from Mo. I think, you know, it's exciting. Definitely.
Something to be excited about, Cav, as well, from your point of view. The glimpse of Flo, it was definitely one of his best performances. I think he was brilliant against I can't remember which other game. It was a European game, Champions League. I'm not sure if it was
Frankfurt. It was good. Yeah.
Atletico Madrid was good.
It was good against Real
Madrid. Yeah. To be honest with you, yeah. But this one was more. You know, when I done the G&G show with Gags on the preview, and I said Gomez will start, and I said Verts. This game is made for Verts. I'm praying he's fit because it's such a big pitch, and West Ham are not notoriously so brilliant structurally and can't play that low block. So, without going overboard, because it was West Ham, encouraging signs and thoughts on the Isak. Still doesn't look match fit, but that finish, Cav, that's what you pay the top dollar for. That is, I call it the Trezeguet finish. That's a David Trezeguet finish. If you know Trezeguet's finishes, that's it. And I think that will be, we'll see a lot of goals like that because it's so instinctive and only a prime, authentic, cultured number 9 scores those kind of goals.
Yeah, just on Mo, I think, on Mo's points on Florian, I think you bang on with what you're saying. When you've watched football for long enough, you can just see when a player's got it, and Florian's got it. You could tell right from the off with Liverpool, he just has this natural ability to float into areas where there's space, and he'll look to receive the ball, and then he'll lay it off and get it back. He'll link play with some nice 1-2s, or he'll turn on it. But up to this point, I think he's been quite shocked by the pace and the aggression of the midfielders in the Premier League. And I think he's probably having to get used to that pace and that timing. Don't change what you're doing. Just recognise the pace in which it's happening. And it felt like he got that right at West Ham. He was between the lines. He was the man between the midfield and the striker in Isak. He was drifting left and right, but he was always an option for the guy on the ball. And when he got it, he made things happen. You know, he was carrying the ball well. He looked stronger. Harder to dispossess, laying it off to McAllister and the guys out wide and getting it back and then turning and looking forward. He's always got that picture in his mind. It's just he needs that 1-2 pass to then, bang, I'm going to play the through ball. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. And Liverpool should absolutely be trying to build the team around him because he is a modern-day footballer, a modern-day 10. When we thought 10s were dead and gone out of the game, he's shown that that's clearly not the case. It's for everybody else to go on his wavelength, which we've been saying for a long time. And Isak's one of those players that's going to benefit the most from Florian Wirtz and the way he plays, but he's got to learn that. He's got to get up to speed with Florian Wirtz. He's got to time his runs and know what ball Florian Wirtz can play. There was that one occasion where Florian just caressed the ball into the middle of the box, and Isak wasn't there. And I don't blame Isak because that ball's not been played since he's been at Liverpool. It's probably not been played in years because that's not the way we've built up. But suddenly you got Florian Wirtz who just looks like he's passing the ball into there. Just popped it into the space. Go on.
You've done it a few times, Kev. You've done it a few times, Kev. Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. That method of attack, you're spot on. Even Mane never used to play that kind of pass. You know, Bobby, you might have if he drifted out wide, but definitely not Salah and Mane, and definitely not any of our midfielders. But it's another indication of what the future. Do you remember Ekitike done it as well in one of the first few games where he set up a goal, I think, didn't he? I think where he drifted out wide, or maybe it was pre-season. This is the future.
Yeah, the 1-2, and then he. I think the Palace in the cup where he played a 1-2 and he just caresses it into the bottom corner. Their angles and their chances being created that we've not seen in the past because we've traditionally played with a false nine and inverted wingers, and it's very direct football. It's underlapping underlapping Szoboszlai and such last season, pullbacks into the box. It's different angles, different patterns of building up a play. What Florian Wirtz offers you is everything of that and then the other stuff as well. Then we've not seen them passes into the box for years, largely because we come up against a low block side and that space isn't there. But he played it a couple of times from the left, which Isak should have been on the end of, from the right into the box, which he was going to Gakpo, gets cut out. But they're just those passes that strikers dream of because they can run onto the ball and it's a one-touch finish. It's not having to do anything particularly with it. It's if you're sharp and you've got good movement in the box, you will get on the end of Florian Wirtz's assists. And it's a matter of time before Mo says the floodgates were open. I think he was fantastic. And again, Isak, I'm not going to lie, I'm disappointed since he's joined. I kind of thought that, yes, he's getting up to speed. Yes, he's getting minutes. But he has played some minutes and I expected a bit more of a killer in there. And it's not quite happened. And that goal was really crucial for him. I'll be honest with you, I thought we played well in the game, but it took me by surprise. It kind of just happened. It was like, out of nowhere. I know Gakpo pulls it back, but it was like he'd been scoring goals every single time he played. It was just ease to him, you know. Just
it was a training ground. It was a training ground. What we see in the training ground, you know, the clips of training ground. It was one of those finishes that they just turn around, and go to the halfway line.
Yeah, it was just a side foot perfectly into the bottom corner. It had a bit of curve on it. Whether he meant it or not, I don't know. But it looked brilliant when you watch it. Yeah, and it is effortless because they're the type of finishes that are effortless for an informed Isak. But they're the chances that Liverpool now need to try and create. We've been saying it for years. We don't give our striker enough chances. And when we do, we're not giving them enough easy chances. How many tap-ins do we see? It don't happen. So it was nice to see that Gakpo pulled the ball back into the box, good weight on it, and it allowed the striker just to one-time finish into the box. And that should do him the world of good. You know, I'm not sure how convinced he was he should do his celebration, but he did it anyway. It was good to see. And look, it's good for him. It's good for us. In the game, it was good that we got the first goal because for all of that good play and that control, Liverpool have had that. And then when they concede, it crumbles. And it didn't happen. We got that first goal. It was from our striker. It was well built up, and they could gain confidence from that. That's a massive thing for Liverpool at this current period in time. The question is now, you know, without jumping too far ahead, is can he go again? And can he do it again? And will he be selected for tomorrow night's game? That's the thing. But hopefully that gives him confidence to want to be doing it again.
Well, we're going to get into that now, I guess. I mean, anybody want to touch on the Gakpo finishing touch? I mean, Gakpo's another one, isn't it? He divides opinion, but that's every fan base. Every fan base for their team has players that divides opinion. Like Arsenal have it with Trossard and Martinelli. People prefer one or the other. We had it with Gakpo and Diaz. The Diaz was kind of ridiculed at times last season for his output, maybe. And now people are doing a lot of revisionism about Luis Diaz. Oh my God, look at him in Bayern Munich. But then they forget that there was a lot of criticism when he was here because Gakpo was putting up the numbers. And now this season, Gakpo seems to have got that spot nailed down, regardless of how he plays. He doesn't again have he has an effect on a game, Lou. I don't know what you think. He's quite involved in the game. And he ends up with a goal and an assist. I mean, this is the kind of Gakpo that I guess we're going to have to get used to.
Yeah, and what a lot of people seem to forget is Gakpo's form has always been coming in purple patches. Like even last season, Diaz started off great. When he dipped, Gakpo hit his run of form, and then when Gakpo dipped, Diaz got his run of form again. This is normal for him. He doesn't have a full, sustained, top-level season. He goes up and down, and he does go through those spells. And I've been a critique of Gakpo this season in terms of it felt like he was very one-dimensional. It was pick up the ball, cut inside, try and cross it to someone or pass it to a midfielder, and then that's it. But like you said, he's very involved in our game. He's got 4.19 progressive carries this season, which is the top 10% for Premier League wingers. He's receiving 11.08 progressive passes, which is in the top 12% of Premier League wingers as well. He is a very involved player. It's that end product that points, and sometimes his decision making. Like there's a particular early ball from Wirtz in the first 5 minutes, which goes through the middle, and he leaves it for Isak. And I'm just thinking, any attacker at the moment who's got a bit of confidence to them would hit that first time and not leave it to the player behind you who's in a more difficult position with a defender in the way. And he's never been that sort of massive goal scorer for us. He is someone who's just an outlet. He's very good at that, and he's great with his shot creating actions, being at 4.28 a match. But I'd like to see more of that direct attacking winger, like the one that we saw in that little spell against PSV, where when he's running at players, when he's actually trying to beat people and trying to make space for himself and others, that's when I think we see the best out of Gakpo, not this rigid approach of cutting inside, trying to find someone, going. I just want to see more of an attacking threat for him. I think that's why Diaz, as much as people are missing in this season, he's at Bayern where he's doing amazing, but it's a much easier competition for him, let's face it. Diaz was always a very direct, aggressive player who wanted to run in behind, which Gakpo isn't. And we just need to get used to that. He's not a Mane-style winger. He's not a Diaz-style winger. He's not the winger that we're accustomed to seeing throughout Liverpool's history. He is a very different style of player. I just wish that we could see that little bit more of an attacking edge from him at points. He's not benefited by not having competition for that position either. I know Wirtz obviously can play there, but beyond that, it's Ngamoa, who it's not, as much as he's a good player for the age he is, he's not solid competition for Gakpo. And I think that's hindering him more than anything, not having that sort of fear factor of, okay, if I'm not performing, here's Luis Diaz to jump in behind me. Here's a Mane to jump in behind me. Do you get what I mean? Like he hasn't got that competition to keep him going, maybe.
But that's why we are targeting the likes of Semenyo, because I think that kind of is the profile of the exact profile that you've just described. There is the one attacker that we don't have amongst our ranks right now. The fast, direct ball carrier, aggressive ball carrier. Rio is the miniature version, the mini version, the young version, but we need a Premier League ready version. And Semenyo is that guy, I believe. So yeah, 2-0, comfortable win.